Well, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Um, David is off camping, so I am here by my lonesome. I did invite some of our Patreon members to join us, so hopefully they are available. If they are, they will be joining us at some point today. Um, Again, we've kind of started going to modified streams because it is camping season for David, and it's project season for me. I've been renovating my basement, or family room area, I guess, and whatnot. So uh, we've been busy. So we will have sporadic streams throughout the next couple of months, coming back to normal probably in September-ish. It'll start to be normal again, kind of with our regular Sunday streams. So in between there, we'll have some streams, but they're going to be a little more sporadic. Yeah, so hopefully everyone is doing well. Other than that, I do want to thank our Patreons. Thank you so much. You guys are great, and hopefully some of them will be joining us today. If not, thanks anyway for all you guys do. We do appreciate all the support you give us. Allows us to do a little extras here and there. And David did mention we are going to be expanding our Discord to anyone who subscribes to Patreon. There'll be the free tier, which will soon get Patreon access. But that's just to the general public kind of Patreon stuff. And then there's still going to be our paid tier private, which will get a few more things, like you can come on the live stream if you like. You'll get all the other perks and whatnot. And if you need any other information from us, you can go to www.3dmakeit.ca, and you can find all our links and whatnot, and if we're having a contest and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully everyone is doing awesome. And now if I can remember how to take that off. Perfect. And yeah, not a ton in the news. I mean, there are a few things here and there. On my initial look this morning, I did see a handful of things that are kind of interesting. Some of them are a little old, and so I'm not gonna bring them up. But there's a new bamboo slicer. They're releasing them on a regular basis. There are some rumors of a new bamboo printer. There's been speculation because there's been a screenshot that was released. Now, what's interesting is we know really nothing about this, whether it's legit or not. I mean, as far as we know, it's some sort of prototype, but it is labeled on the bed. We can see a 340 millimeter and whatnot. So let me see if I can bring up this, and there we go. And we could probably, yeah, I think we'll do that. Sure, I think that'll work. So what we have is the Bamboo Lab. This was, I guess, it was WeChat that leaked it out, and you can see it kind of looks like some of their A1 series extruder, but also a little bit like the new extruder on the Bamboo Lab H2, but only a single nozzle, which totally makes sense. These ducts around it are a little unusual. That's not what we normally see on a Bamboo Lab. So that's why this could be totally just some sort of development machine. Maybe it's a mashup of different machines just for testing. So this is complete speculation here. But we'll see what happens. Oh, there's another screenshot of the UI, which just looks like the standard Bamboo X1 UI on that one with an AMS advanced. Okay. So who knows? I just thought that was kind of interesting. But you can see on the bed down here, it says 340 millimeters cubed. Interesting. Or yeah. Huh. So I mean, that would be kind of nice having a big printer and whatnot. Not everyone needs all the features that the H2 has. So I could totally see them taking and scaling it, because I don't need my machine to be a laser cutter and anything and a vinyl cutter and whatnot. Mind you, you could probably still do the vinyl cutter thing on here. But I think if they scaled it back so that it's just like the X1 or the P1 uh, series, Core XY with a larger bed, I think the price shouldn't be outrageous, and that's what a lot of people want. So hopefully that's something that'll be coming down the pipe, maybe for the Christmas season. We'll have to see what happens. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, and then Orca Slicer there's no updates there. Super Slicer, we never talk about that anymore. But Super Slicer apparently was updated a couple days ago, but I think most people are using Orca, Bamboo, or Prusa. So, but Kira has had some updates. So if you are a Kira user, they're on release candidate 7 of 5.10. So it's 5.10.1. It's getting closer to release. So who knows? Any time they might have the final release out of the new Kira. I think it mostly supports their new printers and whatnot, because they do have a variety of new machines, and I'm sure they're adding profiles for the rest of the machines that are out there. Other than that, Fluid has an update if anyone's interested. 1.34.2 is the latest Fluid. So if you are a Fluid fan, I mostly use Mainsail, but if you like the Fluid interface and you're a big Fluid fan, there is an update to that as well. Other than that, let me just see what other kind of news is out here. Prusa released some software. Let's see if I can go to the blog post. Let's see if we can we'll see if we can get a good oops. Let me share screen. Share. See if we can get that to show on stream. There we are. So Prusa has released the easy print slice on your phone for tablets, laptops, and open to everyone. And so there's a bit of a blog post here. So there's an app you can get. So this is very much like the Creality app or the Handy app, and whatnot. So allows you to, this one looks like it's a little more advanced. Like you can do view your layers and whatnot. So now if for example, one of the big frustrations for a lot of people was if you had a Chromebook and that was your only thing that you had, or you only had a tablet, like there was limited ways for you to slice. There was a couple online services that did it with a version of Kira and whatnot. Blanking on the name at the moment, but we've recommended that for places that have only Chromebooks. We do a lot of different training labs and whatnot with training people how to use 3D printers, and a handful of them. The one shop we did, they everyone just all they had was Chromebooks. So something like this could make it definitely more accessible for them. If you can use a tablet, to do your slicing and whatnot. So it's kind of neat. The only issue I think is, if you don't have Octoprint or something tied in, or some sort of other tool, whether it's Clipper or whatnot, so that you have the ability to send print jobs to your printer, to a Pi of some sort or some sort of tool that's built into the printer, then you're limited. So if you just had a stock Ender 3, for example, and you are using little USB or adapter to dump the stuff to your SD card and running it over to your printer to print, you're out of luck with this. You're going to have to get some sort of Pi or something to integrate into your printing system. Now, if you have like a Bamboo or some of the newer Prusas, the boards have Ethernet built right in, and then you can tie directly in. So a K1, for example, K1C, you can get directly onto your network to print to. So I assume they'll have some sort of tie-in for some of these in the future if they don't already have them now. So that looks pretty cool. So it is something that I'm going to have to try out and see. Maybe we'll have to do a comparison between the apps. Now that there's more than one company with an app, we got Creality, we've got Prusa now, and we have Bamboo with app integration and whatnot. We'll have to see if they have similar support, or if one's better than the other. And everyone's going to look at each of these tools and say, hey, what can I do to copy this? This seems popular and whatnot. So yeah, so I thought that was quite neat and whatnot. So yeah, I thought that was cool. That was Dominic has suggested that one. That was if you're on Patreon and you are in our chat, if you see something really interesting that you you think we should talk about, or you want maybe our perspective, David and I's perspective on a new service or new product, whatnot, please throw it into the Discord, and we can have a chat right there. There is a new service on Patreon where we can start chats as well. So that's something to look at as well. Other than that, I haven't, nothing else has really kind of jumped out at me. There's a couple of reviews out there on different printers, but nothing that I don't think we've already talked about. I think David has talked about the High before. There's an article out there comparing it to the Ender 3. The difference is the High is basically a fully clipperized version of the Ender 3. I can't remember if the High is the Core XZ. There was one of the printers where they got rid of the lead screws completely and went to Core XZ instead of with lead screws, which is kind of a neat idea. I don't know if it's better than anything else, but it's one of those things. Other than that, yeah, I didn't see anything that was just had to be talked about. Thomas Salinger, oh man, said Langer. I'm sorry, Tom, I'm butchering your name. Had a really interesting chat. It wasn't a review and whatnot, but he was talking about kind of the evolution of 3D printing and whatnot. Hey, Dominic, how you doing? If you want to join, I sent you a link. And it was quite a, he went into how he tries to let people know when it's a paid ad and whatnot, but then he also really focused on how the industry has evolved, and now printers are, you have to tinker less to even get the printer even set up, whereas before it took maybe maybe you had to build the printer, so multiple hours to build the printer, and then multiple hours to tweak the printer, and then multiple hours to whatever just to get to your first print. And I enjoyed that process. My first printer was the what was it, the one that caught fire. I'm blanking on the name. But it had the acrylic case and whatnot, and lead screws and whatnot. Someone tried to print ABS on it and jammed it up because it was never designed for ABS. So that was my first printer, and then I got the Anycubic and my Bumblebee over there, the Chiron. It was definitely easier to set up, but then I highly modified it. And that's the other thing he talked about, is that the ability to modify these newer printers is more limited. So if you're just getting into it to print a thing, a knickknack, an engineering sample or whatnot, you can just do it now. There's very little setup and calibration. A lot of it's automatic with the printer now. Um, it on all the printers. Some previous printers had a calibration set up when you initially launched, and like Prusa was always famous for their reliability and repeatability and whatnot, because they had a full calibration scheme that you could run through to recalibrate the printer very easily. And it took a long time for Crealities and whatnot to catch up to that. And right out of the gate, Bamboo came, all guns blazing, making sure that their system calibrated itself. It had all the features that everyone was like adding to printers and the Core XY and whatnot, so that people could just print. You just load the app or load the slicer, drop your slice in, slice it, print it, and you're going to have success the first time, 90% of the time. Now, nothing's 100%. I've had failures on my Bamboo. I've had failures on all my printers. That is always going to be a part of 3D printing. Is why did it fail? Was it a jam? Uh, in my case, on my Bamboo, I was trying to print something and it was too fast as it got higher up on the printer. So I actually had to slow it down a bit so that it could bridge properly, have a nice solid kind of make some stability, and then it could speed up again. So there's little tips and tricks that you learn over time, um, with different types of models and whatnot. So there's still some learning involved, but with these apps like Prusa has now and Creality and whatnot, um, the ability to go from choosing a model to printing out now has greatly simplified. And the barrier to entry for 3D printing, if you're not one that wants to assemble the printer and tinker with the printer and modify the printer, it's there. You can just do it now. Whether it's an A1 or an uh, the the high printer or a Prusa and whatnot. Like the barrier now is very low to entry, and the prices are pretty reasonable. Like your prices on any of these printers now. I'm gonna say the prices for Canada. I know some of the prices, because a lot of the printers are from other countries in the US. For example, I'm in Canada, so all of our stuff will come from China or a number of places. So it's one of those things that you don't always have access to it. So yeah, Dominic is saying that he bought an enclosed plug and play printer so that he could just build parts to build a printer project. So, and Dominic, how is that printer printing? I know you were getting it, you got it set up the other day and whatnot. How was the first experience with printing? Did it go smoothly? Um, or was it, if you had to compare it to the first time printing on, I think you have an Ender 5, and maybe you have an Ender 3 too, but your first time printing with one of the Creality older Creality products, because you don't have one of the new K1 series, um, how would you contrast it? Was it quite a bit simpler, or would you say that it was about the same? I'm thinking it was a little bit smoother, hopefully. I don't know. I personally have never used the brand that he got, um but yeah, he what was it, the Q oh, he printed a couch or something. um Blanking on the name. Dominic, remind me the name of it's the QD plus 4 is what it was. Um, so he bought it to build a project, and very smooth printing quality is amazing. So, did it go through, did it, oops, did you your initial setup, did it go through a tuning process where it did the vibration testing and whatnot? Like I know my bamboo, when if I change something, I have to run it through the process, and it does it ramps up the head and vibrates it and at different frequencies and whatnot to kind of calibrate what kind of surface the printer has been put on. Um, and whatnot. And then once it does that, then it goes through the first print. Uh, and Dominic said the time was only 10 minutes to set up. That's pretty slick. And that's kind of what we found. We did a workshop, and one of them was the new Ender 3. Oh, it was the newest Ender 3 at the time, and it didn't have adjustment screws for the bed. It was just the rubber stoppers. That thing printed within 10 minutes, whereas everyone else was still trying to level their print bed. And then the next shop we did, everyone got the K2C, and or K1C, pardon me, K2C, the K1C. And that one, once they had it all unboxed and whatnot, I think the unboxing and taking out all the foam was probably the biggest amount of time. And then just once we ran it through the calibration, um, it was quick. Dominic said, "Yeah, the calibration just took a few minutes." Yeah, and that's the thing. The having a system like a Clipper in the background of the printers, or whatever, the Bamboo OS system, or the systems in your Prusa, or the QDI. Um, I think I'm not sure, is QDI, are they using Clipper, Dominic? I don't know enough about them, so, um, but having that system to go through and do the calibration, do the vibration testing and whatnot, so that you can have such a quick printing system that gives you such a smooth print job right out of the box. Really kind of, it, like I said before, it lowers the barrier to entry. You don't need to know how. You can now just do projects. So if you want to engineer a project to build something, like, you can, the project's no longer the printer, right? Whereas before, some of the project was the printer setting it up, tweaking it, and whatnot. But now you can be much more creative and actually develop other things that aren't just um, you know isn't just the printer. You can make spool holders, you can make knickknacks, you can make jigs for, if you're doing things like in the workshop. I tell you, that's one of the biggest uses I have for my 3D printer, is if I'm um, routering something, or if I'm using a table saw, or if I'm using my CNC, having a specialized jig that um, is made for a specific task. So now I can do the task repeatably and accurately, um, I'd have to make them out of wood in the past, but now I can make them to my exact specifications to fit a custom tool. So, for example, I have an older table saw, so the width of the guide that guides the push um, gauge and whatnot that to go through and whatnot is a little bit odd in size. So now, if I want to make a tool that clicks into there to help me, maybe do a specialized angle or something, it's much easier to do because I can now take my calipers and I can design a actual jig to fit my specific tool. It's customized 100% to the tool that I'm using, whether it's if I'm adding some soft clamping to a vise um or my quick release clamps, if I'm adding some sort of specialized jig so that I could clamp a corner differently and whatnot, I can now just print them and go and use them in the shop, which is great. Like, there's so many um, things now that you can just focus on uh, and not have to worry about uh, a printer and whether the printer is going to work right out of the box, and away you go. So, and Dominic did say that he uses a modified version of Clipper, which is what they've done for it's stock Clipper with a modified GUI is the way the um, K1 series works. So you can still add, like, if you wanted full fluid or full mainsail as the interface, you can still do it. Why they don't let you have the full interface? It's like they don't trust you with all of the potential add-ons and whatnot. And I guess you also um it's not a full-on Raspberry Pi in there. So it could be a little resource limited with the amount of RAM and processing power that they have. So they maybe want to minimize that. That's why they give you a little stripped down GUI for the web interface. But um, I know a few people who have been able to do the routing. David has enabled the full on Clipper interface so that he can do a few custom macros and stuff, I believe. So, yeah, I think we've come a long way. I mean, we've only been streaming now for I'm not sure if it's our fourth or fifth year now, but um, both David's been doing 3D printing longer than me. He was doing it a couple of years before I started, uh, but I tell you, it's been a wonderful process learning, um, and I really did enjoy all the tinkering and whatnot. And I think your systems like your Vorons, for example, are still for the avid uh, maker or tinkerer who wants to have a custom solution. I've got my Voron back here to build a size specific printer um, with specific features that you're looking for. You still have the ability to do that. That's the beauty of the system. um, and so there are still lots of projects out there that are constantly tweaking and improving. Your Vorons are the perfect example of something that still allows you to fill that need, if you have it, for a highly capable, very accurate, self-built 3D printer that potentially is more expensive than some of the other ones out there, because when you look at the entire Voron kit, the number of hours it takes to set up and whatnot, you are paying a little bit more for that than an X1 or a P1S or was it is it P1S or P1P? I can never remember those two. The difference is one of them has the size and one doesn't. But the costs are way down on those, and the accuracy is way up. Hey Gary, so definitely, if you are still a tinkerer and you still want something custom and you still want to be able to mod and whatnot, the ability is still there if you go with the Voron type kit and whatnot. And they have kits versus you don't have to source the parts anymore. You can buy a whole kit and then just build it to the specifications, which is great. But if you're just not into building and whatnot, then definitely there's some really good systems out there. And Gary really wants a Voron. And they're great. I've got my little V0. I've got most of my stuff printed to do Voron 2.4, I believe is the one I'm doing, or 2.5. I can't remember what version we're at now. But I've got all the parts printed. I got to build the frame. I've got some boards for it, and so I've got a lot of the stuff I need to get it going. But definitely, it's quite cool. All the different options that are out there. Gary says kits are probably less expensive than they were by a factor of when you factor in shipping compared to, yeah, you're right. Yeah, if you were trying to get the old one, you would have to, like, when I did my, I think I bought a kit with my V0 and it was still pretty expensive at the time, but more and more the accessibility to kits with all the screws and motors and everything have really come down in pricing. And so you do have a good ability to get and you can shop around now, so you can get, there may be a local company selling the kit versus if you're in the States and try to order on AliExpress the kit, right? um you might be surprised that it's quadrupled the price with the tariffs and stuff. But if you can find a local shop that supply, and there's a lot of local companies that do the kits and whatnot, and the price can be considerably less. And Gary was saying it's hard to beat the price of a ready to go Core XY, and it's true. Um, the prices on like a K1C, for example, what was the last price that I saw on a K1C? Um, I'm going to our local one that we order a lot from. So all these prices are going to be in Canadian that I'm quoting because that's where I live. So a K1C right now is $739 Canadian. So what's that? It's like, let's do the calculator, shall we? Let's see what it costs. I'm just all right. 739. Why did it jump around here? 739 US dollar or Canadian dollars. Come on. Why isn't it going to Canadian dollars to US dollars? Oh, come on. Why? You'd think that it would be the first. There it is, US dollars. All right. Sorry. Had to. So it's like $540 US. So that's pretty darn reasonable for uh, a whole kit. Whereas a Voron uh, a Voron 300 by 300 by 300 kit is $17.99 Canadian. Like that's a quite a big jump. I mean, it is a larger printer, and you do get the joy of actually building it. But yeah, it's amazing how the prices have come down. Like the K2, for example, if you just wanted to get a K2 combo, so that's the newest one, the K2 Plus 3D printer that's got the CMS and whatnot. That's $21.99, but you got 4-color printing, right? And away you go. So it's quite amazing, the difference. And again, this is only one person that's one company that's selling stuff. It's not like I delved deep into the research and whatnot, but yeah, it's quite impressive, the way the price is. Like the P1P from Bamboo is $685, and that's a very solid Core XY printer. So I mean, you can't really go wrong. Yes, and that's the one thing you've so Gary had made a good point, is that you have to watch out for the quality of the kits. So buying from a reputable source, so whether it's uh, a a local company or some random website that you don't know where they're from, and it's some xyz.com. you know you don't know the quality of the parts that they're putting in. Are they using the best quality steppers? Are they using the accurate open builds, aluminum extrusions, or are they just some sort of approximated knockoff of those extrusions, so it may not fit as nicely. um the quality of the parts that you get is important. So do your research, check out reviews, know the company you're buying from. Hopefully you have, if you're just buying a kit off of Amazon, which I didn't even look to see if they even have any kits on Amazon. But some of the stuff you get on Amazon can be very hit and miss on the quality. Um, even for automotive parts or any parts you get, you have to be a little more discerning. Just because it's the cheapest price doesn't mean you're getting what you see on the screen. And make sure if you are buying from uh, Amazon, that you get it's shipped from the Amazon warehouse, not some weird address somewhere. Because if you need to return it and it came from the Amazon warehouse, the likelihood of you getting a refund and being able to return a product that was wrong is much higher. So, a little tip there. Let's just see if they have Voron. They have some Voron clones, the Sovo stuff. They have a variety of parts, but I don't see any specific kit. Oh, there's the kit. But what is this? Is this so this is just a no extrusion, but it's instead of the 3D printed parts, it's like they have you can get the aluminum CNC'd parts. So if you don't want to have an ABS printed frame connectors and motor mounts and whatnot, you can get the aluminum powder coated ones. But you do something like that and you go from $20 worth of parts to $700 worth of parts. So you can go as crazy as you want and you can have the most expensive 3D printer in the world if you want. Um, I don't know, and I don't know that I've seen any reviews. If you guys have seen any reviews, I've been curious to see, because you see the people taking the Voron parts and the 3D printed ABS and pieces, and they CNC them and powder coat them and whatnot. So you've got an aluminum piece instead of a plastic piece. I don't know how accurate those are and what the tolerances are, because your tolerances are going to have to be very accurate. And if you're machining, the machining process is quite a bit different than the 3D printing process on some types of materials. So I don't know how the build quality changes and whether adding that um changes the rigidity of the printer and whatnot. So I'm curious. I'm unfortunately I'm not financially wealthy enough to be that curious. But it would be interesting to see what a build with all aluminum pieces versus 3D printed pieces, um, if someone has tried that. So if there's a review out there on whatnot, throw it into Discord, throw it into the notes on the chat here, and I'm curious to take a look at that. So, just going back, I want to get back to. Where is my? Yeah. I just want to thank again our patrons. Thanks everyone. If you are interested and would like to become a patron, there is a completely free tier at patreon.com/3D make it that you can join. And we will be incorporating that free tier into the public or quasi public Discord, and then we still will have the private Patreon's Discord for the paid tiers. And so, and the if you're on the paid tier, you do get invited to be on the stream like I did today. I invited, but no one is available, unfortunately. Maybe if I had let everyone know I was streaming ahead of time, we could have got Dominic or Raymond or one of our other patrons to come on board. But anyway, if you are interested, you can go to patreon.com/3dmakeit. And there again, there's the free tier, then we have the paid tiers, and you can join us there. And if you need any other information on us, go to www.3dmakeit.ca and you'll find information there, and contact information for us and whatnot. So hopefully everyone knows that. And hey, it's Helge. He's our top supporter on Patreon. How you doing, Helge? Yeah, so hopefully everyone is having a good weekend. What are you guys printing? I know Dominic was printing parts for his or prepping to print parts for his modification of his Ender 5 on. He's printing them on his new printer. Gary and Hilch, what are you guys doing this weekend? Are you printing anything in particular? Do you have any projects on the go? Like I said, I haven't been doing as many projects. I did 3D print a few jigs and whatnot. I've been doing a lot of drywalling and whatnot. Dominic, Discord's a great place to get your questions answered, and it's true. We are able to chat back and forth on Discord, and we get a lot of stuff from you guys actually on Discord that just for some of our topics that we discuss and whatnot. Gary says my hot end is still in parts on my desk. Need to replace something on it. Had been apart so long I don't remember what was broken. Well, hopefully you can get that fixed right away. Yeah, the smoke is rolling in today. The last couple of days it's been gorgeous. We've had my son had a whole bunch of friends over and had a nice barbecue outside, and they were outside until the early mornings hours. It was just beautiful weather. But yeah, I feel for all the people up north in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba and BC. There's a ton of wildfires burning so early in the season. And so now the smoke is finally getting down to us down here. So it is getting kind of smoky. So if you're in one of the smoke infected areas, or please, take precautions, stay inside if you have any breathing issues, because no one needs to have that kind of stress on your body if you don't need to. And Dominic says he plans to print some stuff for his new apartment so that he could just see as easy as when buying it at the dollar store. Yeah, it's one of those things. You can buy stuff at the dollar store, and I still buy some stuff, but there is some custom stuff that you just can't get, and so it's always nice to be able to print that sort of stuff. Held said he just finished an electric part, and he's just doing final fit and finish. Nice. I'll be printing an enclosure so I can put my particulate and CO2 sensor outside. Nice. That yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Why buy a $3 thing when you spend $600 on a printer? Speaking from experience. Well, it is true. Um, there are a few things like, for example, just as a design challenge, I printed a lint roller holder, just the handle that you slide the little lint rollers things on. Um, and Yeah, it probably took me an hour or 2 to finalize the design, and then a couple troubleshooting on the best way to print it and whatnot, when I could have just got it from the dollar store for, like, $2. But hey, it's mine, I designed it, and now I can print it anytime I want. Making a power bank, also in wireless charging option. Nice. Chip clips. Uh, that's coming up. I don't know when it is. We might go just to go and look around, but, we're not gonna have a table or anything. Um, that was never the plan. Um, but yeah, we'll probably go to check it out. But yeah. Yeah, I agree. Useful prints are the best. I do enjoy, um, making practical prints, whether it's, a bracket or, something to, for example, I have a camper, and the fridge on the camper has a little door. You pull it, and it pops open, and the plastic piece on the top, and this is from the 90s, this fridge, and so I don't think you can buy the parts anymore, and if you would, it would be too expensive. So I pulled the broken parts off, designed a whole new one, printed out of ABS, popped it in. It's good as new. That's the kind of thing that I really enjoy, is when you're able to take something like that is broken, that maybe you can't reproduce, whether it's you know uh whatever the doodad is, it makes uh that reminds me, my sister needs a new handle bracket for her fridge printed. Last one worked for over 2 years, right? And that's the thing. Like, I think my first print I ever did was to fix the shelf bracket. It was a little clip in the fridge, an LG fridge, and I printed a bracket so the shelf would hold in and wouldn't fall out anymore. Um, yeah, I think they wanted like $50, and it took me $2 of filming and 12 hours of design time. But it was the design time and whatnot that makes it interesting, right? It's I enjoy that. I like, whether it's working with Fusion or Tinkercad or whatever, or whatever AutoCAD or CAD version you're using. Um, the creative process I really enjoy. So yeah. And you're right. You learn, and it's good practice. And it is. Sometimes I just will find something, just to, because you know you get rusty if you don't you know use that skill, the design skill. So, when I was doing my basement, I Fusion 360'd my entire basement to figure out the cabinets and, roughly whatnot. Did I have to do that? No, I could use paper, and I did use paper for some of it, but actually just kind of laying it out and getting a good idea of the space and um, even some of the processes of doing lofts or doing complex curved surfaces and whatnot. It's not always as easy as just making it. You have to actually, really think about the different design processes and the different tools. And some of the tools I've never used, so it's always handy to go through and have something to try some of these new tools uh, within the software that you may have not used before. You may find that it will speed up the process down the road once you learn it. It may take you an hour or two to learn it, but once you learn it, all of a sudden it's now 5 minutes to do your process, and away you go. So yeah, I do enjoy that a lot. Well, we are now at the end of the show. Thanks everyone for joining in. Gary, Hilge, Dominic, and anyone else who is watching that didn't join in chat. You're always welcome to comment in chat and whatnot, ask questions. We do enjoy the feedback. Again, if you want, there is a free tier on Patreon that you can join. We don't do a ton in the free tier yet, but yeah, and thanks. Like, subscribe, all those things. Appreciate everyone for joining us today. And again, our summer hours are kind of in effect, so we won't have a stream absolutely every Sunday. We're going to definitely try to have at least once a month a stream. Try to catch you up on, the first part will be catching you up on 3D printing news and whatnot. It does slow down a little bit in the summer. If there's some big trending thing, we'll try to cover that. And then if you guys have any specific topics that you guys want, please throw it in the Discord. If you're on our Discord, or if you're on Patreon, you can ask the stuff there, or feel free to www.3dmakeit.ca. All our contact information's there, and you can send us info@3dmakeit.ca. We'll always get David and I, and we if we you have a topic or something that you would like us to discuss, send it there and we'll get to it as soon as possible. So thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and see you next time.